Emmanuel, a young boxer with a brilliant future, dies tragically. A father learns to forgive and brings calm to the community. A loyal friend who refuses to give up the dream. This is not a story so much about boxing as it is about a boxer that embodies resilience, courage, and community unity. Stay with us on this journey.
I am convinced that if my son came to this world, he was destined to be a boxer.
He really had the potential to become a great fighter. He could have gone as far as he wanted to go. He could have been up there with the great ones.
The Zuñiga family came from Cárdenas, Mexico. After the loss of the first child, they came to America to start a new life.
After 15 years in the United States, the Zuñiga family had grown to 5 children, among them a little boy named Emmanuel.
When Emmanuel became 10 years of age, that was the first time that the topic of boxing came into the Zuñiga family.
On his 10th birthday, Sylvester bought him a pair of boxing gloves. I thought it was repugnant. I didn't want my son to be a boxer.
She did not know that Emmanuel had been fighting at school and in the streets.
Anyone to talk about boxing in my house. Not in my house. Not in my home.
I did not have another option. Either I left him, continue fighting in the alleys or in the street, or I would bring him inside a gym. Boxing requires a lot of discipline, courage, and devotion. Are you willing? I asked him. His answer was firm. Yes. All I want to do in this life is be a boxer, he said.
When I saw him for the first time, looked fragile, distant, you know. I mean, tell you the truth, he didn't impress me at all. One day, one of my toughest fighters was sparring, and he had hurt the last sparring partner that he had. And I was looking around the ring, you know, see if there was anybody available for him to spar. And Emmanuel raised his hand, said he wanted to go in the ring. And, I mean, he hadn't been here that long, so I said, okay, come on in. So I asked Crusher to take it easy on him. But after the first few minutes of watching the spar, I really saw the kid had a lot of potential.
We met in elementary school. Yeah, his looks were deceiving then. People thought he was weak. Some even tried to bully him. But they found out the hard way. That's when they found out who he really was.
After that, he started winning amateur fights, and he showed a lot of courage and a lot of personal techniques that he had that made him natural, techniques that he was born with.
Yeah, he went from being a shy kid to being an Aztec warrior.
After many impressive fights, he did real good. He was ready for the next one. He was ready for the big fight.
I had no doubt he would win the fight. I knew he was ready to be a world champion. So right before the big fight, I noticed that something was wrong with him, like he was disappointed. And I asked him what was wrong with him, and he said he felt empty. I was trying to lift him up. I told him, you need to go out there and show the people what you have. You need to show them who you are. And nothing seemed to work.
That morning, everyone was around the table. He got up late. My wife offered him food, but he said he was in a hurry. And that was the last time we saw him alive. It was around 3 in the afternoon when we received a call that my son, that Emmanuel, had been wounded.
It was the most devastating news I could get in my life.
When the doctor came to talk to us in the waiting area, I could see it in his face. I knew right then that my son was dead.
Emmanuel had suffered a deadly wound. There was nothing the doctors could do to save his life. After the tragic death, Emmanuel's fans were devastated. Many wanted revenge on the young man who had been responsible for pulling the trigger. Many people came trying to convince me to seek revenge on the boy who had shot him. Although the authorities had ruled the death an accident, there were a lot of people very upset in the community looking for revenge.
Despite our own grief, I saw the need to calm the community. In my son's funeral, I asked the young man to come forward. We embraced, we cried, and I asked the rest of the mourners to go with me to bury my son and also to bury our differences.
After the funeral, the Zuñigas found solace through spirituality, while Roberto was impacted in an entirely different way.
For several days, no one could find Roberto, but I knew where I could find him.
It was precisely at this point that Roberto receives the inspiration to continue the journey and take on the fight.
Roberto and Emmanuel had been friends since childhood. Roberto mostly in the background, supporting his friend. After Emmanuel's death, he could not accept the dream they both had shared had suddenly come to a stop. Roberto decided to continue the legacy.
I never saw Robert as a boxer. And he was always at Emmanuel's corner. After Emmanuel was gone, and he decided he wanted to box, I wanted to make sure I was there to support him.
is within his rights in stopping this.
Una tarde de verano en Houston, Texas pasó. El mes de agosto corría, por cierto era el día